You know, I think it was in very poor taste that some persons would have done some things, right? So it says, Mr. Grant, it's interesting how Mr. Moss using the word slave so loosely. My question is, what shots is he calling? How is he showing us slave Bahamians how it's done? Please educate us.
Oh, that's easy. I paying my $400 to go change it.
Really? Your $400 during the electoral period
I paid
time.
it twice, actually.
You paid it twice?
Yeah, that's how I do it. And then I'm here trying to educate you.
I appreciate you,
Well,
sir.
not you personally,
We
not
all
personally.
no. I think it's a very healthy conversation, and sometimes it's important that we awaken to some things
Listen,
that
man.
have been lying dormant.
Before they used to
far
say if
too
you want to
long.
hide something from a black person, put it in the book. Nowadays, you could put it in the book, and they still saying, no, they ain't mean that. What you mean they ain't mean that? That's what it say right there. Go look it up.
And that's unfortunate, eh? We got a lot of callers. The lines are lighting right up.
What you mean that he wouldn't say?
The lines are lighting right up. I'm calling you on with this live. Go ahead. Put your headphones on, Jelly.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Sally Morse, what do you say, man?
All is good, sir.
Hey, look, guys, be following up on Facebook and they, man, tell that brother, slavery loosely, might be losing to slavery more. Bob Marley couldn't say it better. The host of the show, we still in mental slavery. You understand what I'm saying? When you cannot say to yourself, look here, I want to purchase this piece of property. I want to purchase that piece of property. I want to buy this beachfront without you being scrutinized on who you are and where you come from. I showed Mr. Selimos probably here but this. There was a young girl in COB. I mean, this girl's smart. And guess where she come from, bro? Grantstown. And that professor refused to believe that a Grantstown girl can make these type of grades. You see where I'm coming from here?
Yeah.
So we still in slavery, bro, even with our own kind. If we can always have somebody to give us the final say in life, and we call ourselves independent, we are not independent mentally. We are not independent physically.
Legally.
Go ahead.
No, I just saying, you're not legally either.
And you understand what I'm saying? Listen, man, Sally Moore saying that, but I just wish the folks, they do more campaign of what he's doing in the different neighborhoods. You understand what I'm saying? Because mentally, they are beaten so bad and don't even know where they are. You understand me? Because it's so simple as this. Check this out now. We have the resources, right? We got folks coming in with just a briefcase and they could walk and buy anything in this land we can. Why am I always oppressed and say I cannot get it? I cannot afford it. Payments need not to apply. Come on, man. We living here, but buddy, we ain't living here. We just
Well, we got to definitely do something about it, man. We definitely got to do something about it. And that's why we're having this interactive conversation, this healthy conversation for growth. We appreciate your telephone call, man. We got a text here. It says that this hero worship for lousy politicians is a culture in the Bahamas. Other countries hate politicians because they are known, they know the spineless creatures that they are. Those people get free gas. Hashtag why.
But again, see, I never blame the politician, because here's why. You know, Martin Luther King said a person can only ride you like a donkey if you bend over. You understand? The politician does what you allow him to do. I mean, it's that simple. The politician swears his loyalty to someone else because you allow him to.
Do you sense a shift in the country that the politician is now being pressured into doing the right thing?
No, there's no pressure. Where's the pressure? Where's the pressure, bro?
Well, you know, there's a lot of people, quote unquote, rebelling
How?
against the status quo.
Oh, you mean in Parliament?
Yeah. We see it progressively. We've seen it in this administration. We've seen it in the former administration. We've seen that there has been at least bits and pieces of rebellion. And we hope we could tie it together to make this.
Here's how I analyze and judge things. It's like anything else. You could have little tantrums where people do little stuff. But until I see you doing core things, I know you ain't serious.
I like that, Shelly. That's heavy.
You have to do core things. A lot of people pump fake you like they doing stuff. And not to say that they're not doing it.
You know, Shelly, old school, you see pump fake.
2 offs, right? And see, I look at the core and the structure and the foundation and the essence of something.
Yeah,
and once I see the essence and the core of it, then I know you go in the right direction.
I like that, Shelly.
You understand? That's how I analyze things.
I like that.
So again, as long as a person, listen, anybody who's in this country who aspires for leadership, if you are the mindset that the executive authority of your country should be vested in somebody else, you ain't ready. Any citizen in this country who is okay with the executive authority of their country being vested in somebody else, you ain't serious. You know, again, Howard, it's like you. Are you going to marry a woman? You pull up to the altar, and the preacher say, do you take Howard to be your lawfully wedded husband, to love, have, and obey, or whatever, whatever? And she say, no, I didn't tell Howard I love Joe. You still going to marry the woman? We do that every day. And we expect a different result. It's insane.
What about Joe got it I ain't got?
Regardless of what he got that you ain't got, the point is she didn't tell you her loyalty is for Joe. So when you see over by Joe house, what you complaining for?
We got a call on the line. Caller, you on with us live. Go ahead.
Yes. Good day. Good day. How y'all doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for
Yes, and to the divine people who always listen so much to this show. Good day. Kelly, how you doing?
All is good, sir.
God bless you. Kelly, Amos Jr. Miller have to publicly apologize to you. I now gonna admit that I cannot let how I feel within my heart, you know, for what I see our government over the years have done to the people. Even if you want to help, if you desire to help the government, like for example, a person like me, I'm not a FNM card carrying member, Mr. Grant, but I still voted for them because I believed. I wanted to believe. I personally wanted to believe, but my educated part of me knew that nothing would really change, at least for me, unless I make it, unless I create it, unless I make it happen. Let me tell you why I had a change in heart relative to the Free National Movement, Mr. Grant.
Okay.
We are entertaining from a national perspective, WTO. The nation has had many discussions and is having discussions on this WTO topic. The people put whatever party over the last 45 years who have governed our country in power. The people did that. The people is saying we are not ready. Not that we don't want it. The individual is not ready.
Yeah, but the government is saying if not now, then like when?
Brother Grant, such as myself, Amos, and others who have articulated quite well how we feel, our direction. We said, okay, we need to have a talent or a gift. A talent is rate. That's money. That's math. Okay, you have a gift, your talent, that's going to turn out to be talent. Like how 124 talents of gold was given to Solomon because of how intelligent Solomon was. The intelligence is in the individual behavior, and we are saying we are not ready. What part of that, what more do we need to do to get this in the head of the PLP opposition and the government who is the one who's pushing it? Because it would have been no different if the PLP was there. Now, Bahamas, 35 men and women running our country. 4 of them is opposition. And one of the greatest behemoths as it relates to who love this country is in the studio sitting next to Mr. Grant. His name is Mr. Chelly Moore.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your contribution, Amos. I do appreciate what you're saying. Chelly, always giving you little accolades and whatnot.
I appreciate Amos, man. Amos is a true soldier and a good behavior.
Definitely. We see that you got your callers online, and this text line is lighting up. You know, persons are definitely getting into this conversation. It says that we are the people who put politicians on a high pedestal, and some people treat them like demigods. That's why politicians treat us so bad. And there's some things that we got to think about. We're going to take this commercial break real quick. I'm going to pay some bills and get right back here into this conversation. I see that you're holding. We're going to be back in a jiffy. Hit us on the text line 422-4796 or hit us up 323-623-2, 325-4316, 325-4259. Be right back after these commercial breaks. An opportunity to listen. If you just dashed out on that quick lunch break, we're sitting with Chelly Moss today. We're just having a conversation about national growth and development. I think we can surmise it to that. We're having a conversation about where we are and what it takes to get to where we need to be or where we envision being in the future. I think it's a healthy conversation. We got a great deal of persons hitting us up and really being able to chime in and get into this conversation. It says, whilst you are on the consumer protection and the government need to abolish the use of trucks pulling feces, I think this has to be another show because we're not talking about that, right? So it says, I have a question for you and your guests. At which point in a political life could there be moral compass to change? Because I don't think some politicians come into politics premeditating to be corrupted.
Listen, I think that you have a lot of politicians who come in with good intentions to do stuff. But, ultimately,
the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's the citizenry and the people that keep them on the righteous path. You know what I mean? It's like your children. Your children might be doing mischievousness, but you have to keep them on the right path. And you have to not only just hold their feet to the fire, you have to hold their whole bodies to the fire. And when you see someone...
You can roast them? You can roast them.
Listen, man, it's serious business. Look here. When you put them in there, a person may come in with good intentions, and then when they see it slack, they straight. And you got to deal with people when they straight, because if you don't deal with them, then the next guy looking and saying, "Oh, he get away with this," then
I should be able to get away with it also.
That. And then you have to hold the bar at a certain standard, because when you allow someone to come in that incompetent and can't do the job, then you have other incompetent people coming and saying, "Oh, I want to do the job too." So you have to hold the job at a certain standard of performance and excellence.
I think America has done that for great. They've done a great job at being able to hold the stature and status of the President of the United States of America to such a high degree.
And I don't like
Donald Trump still sliding there.
Yeah.
Let me hit this telephone call. Calling on with us live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Grant.
Good afternoon. How you doing, man?
I'm to your guest.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right. So the situation Bahamas find themselves in is, in my opinion, a direct result of lying politicians.
Mm-hmm.
We have Peter Turnquest, who says that the Guardian was talking foolishness in the United Kingdom when they printed that we was being downgraded.
Mm-hmm.
He says that nowhere in that story was ever mentioned blacklisting, but the very heading of the Guardian article was 21 countries blacklisted.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people twisting and telling us lies. They swear to high heaven.
But that used to work in the past, right? That used to work in the past. Let's call it 2 or 3 decades ago. That worked.
Sorry, sir?
No, I'm saying that used to work. The politician could be able to swing a narrative in one direction or the other because we didn't have access to information as a country. But now we could go right directly to the source via Google and find out this information that everything is uploaded. So it's difficult, and politicians continue to be viewed in this light.
But it's
still
worse.
Think they could put somebody in a coat suit and have them pontificate online and just because that sounded so sweet. You hear how he pronounced that word?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Carla, watch this.
Yes, sir.
It's even worse because before you may not have had access to the information, so you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have access to the information, and now you know. Now the question is, what you gonna do? And if you're not gonna do nothing, well, shut up.
Well, I believe it starts with a row. Before you start the fight, you start with a row. And I think that this is the social.
You fight, it's just a fight.
Mr. Mark, 2 days ago, I listened to a lot of talk shows. 2 days ago, on that same day when Mr. Howard had that young, intelligent FNM on the air, that same day, you had 6 different people call different talk shows talking about how they're ready to hit the street. We need to hit the street. So it is coming, the people feeling it from the bottom because they realizing this heat that they feeling, it ain't the winter season that the politicians talk about. They say that we are independent and sovereign, but whenever me and you go and we sit in the House of Assembly, we are regarded as strangers. A sovereign nation doesn't accept $1.4 million from another country to help formulate their legislation. All right? A sovereign nation doesn't join the WTO, where any dispute that you come in has to be settled outside your country and still lie to us and tell us we sovereign if we can't settle our own disputes in land. A sovereign country does not swear to the Queen and her heirs and successors and talk about, no, man, that's just protocol. But every action you do shows that you are following that to a T. And you have a you have a attorney general. The person texting earlier and say, Charlie using the word slavery loosely, right? But the very attorney general, the man who in charge all the lawyers, say, man, you got to know when the whip is on. And when we getting whipped, you could say whatever Jesus lay on your heart.
Did I tell you before that I always like your contribution? I always tell you that because I like how you look at these things. You're analytical in your approach, and I appreciate your contribution, man.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
I think on another show I heard everybody trying to figure out your name. I trying to figure out if you was the person who's WhatsApp me.
He's good, man. We got another telephone caller on the line. Calling on with us live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Now, just remember now, I'm just speaking out of ignorance because I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
But let's just say the UK could have repealed the Bahamas Independence Act. If they could have done that, what would happen to the Bahamas? Because we did get independence because of an act of Parliament in London.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing is, I think there are some steps before you do that. The first step is you have to acknowledge, okay, that's what it says. You understand? And then you have to ask people, do you still want to do that? Because, again, some people, when slavery was abolished, some people was okay with that. You understand? And then either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. And I put it to you, if you don't want to do it, listen, the Queen right now waiting. What taking these people so long to ask for this? She's not going to give it to you if all the stuff is crown land and all the other stuff and she been making money off you and so on and so forth. Nobody can come to you and say, look here, Howard, I've been making money off you for years. My daddy been making it off you, my granddaddy. Don't give me no more money.
So it all falls down to political will.
You have to ask
the
for
question
it.
is, can they repeal the Bahamas Independence Act? And if they could repeal it, what would happen to the Bahamas?
Say again?
Can
they repeal the Bahamas Independence Act?
Listen,
if
you
could
could
repeal it, what would happen to the Bahamas?
Listen, you could do whatever you want to do. If you have the collective will to say, look here, I don't want to swear my executive authority to you anymore, what they going to do? Either they got to come here shooting up the place or they got to give it up.
Listen, this will be the opportunity for us to be
But that's not the question, though.
Pardon me?
No,
that's not the question.
What's
if
the question?
The British could repeal the Bahamas Independence Act because that's how we got independence, what would happen to the Bahamas?
I don't know all of those answers in terms of legality. All I know is this: if we don't want it no more, and I don't want to be a slave no more, what you gonna do? You can kill me? Okay.
The sovereignty of our nation would actually be measured. We have an opportunity to be able to face it and really move towards what our goals and aspirations are. I don't see any big deal with us being able to do that. And I think the only thing that is actually stopping us from being able to get over that hill is political conviction and will within the Bahamian people. I don't believe our politicians believe in us.
They don't believe in themselves. Listen here, you know, people can say whatever they want to say about Donald Trump, right? And you watch Donald Trump's contribution at the UN when our prime minister was there busy taking picture with him, right? The guy said, I will not concede the sovereignty of America to nobody. I will not.
Yeah,
you understand?
But Chelly, that is weighed based upon their global position.
No, that's weighed based on his mental position of being a boss and understanding that, look here, as a boss, for me to say I'm the owner of this company, the majority shares of this company need to be vested in me. And if it's not, how could I say I'm the boss if I'm not the majority share owner?
If our prime minister,
you get that basic concept.
I hear what you're saying.
That's the bottom line. That's it.
If our prime minister was to take on that position and be able to fight anything and everything that was in the pipeline for our country to ascend towards, then there's some things that we have to ask ourselves. What about our relationships within the region? What about our global relationships? What about our
no, you don't.
Yeah, we have to ask ourselves about that. Because it's still about relationships. It's still about relationships.
No.
I think it is.
You know, it's the most important relationship in the world. You know, it's your most important relationship?
What's that?
With yourself. You understand? What other listen, I know some people, when you decide, look, I don't want to sit on the blocks no more. I want to go get a job. I want to stop smoking dope or whatever. They mad with you. You can't worry about them. You have to do what you want to do for the betterment of you and your children. You're a sovereign nation. What's in my best interest? If bending over and kissing your butt is what I need for us to be friends, we need to be no friends. Let's just own it.
Well, that's a good point. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the thick of it. We're having a good conversation here. If you want to be a part of it, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, or hit us up on the text line. Sorry about that. 422-4796. I'm sitting here with Chelly Moss. Go off. We're going to have a quick commercial break. You're going to listen to some news. We're going to be back and dive right back into this conversation on this Friday evening.
Yeah, he just sent you some.
Say about Bahamian people as though that we're supposed to have this
Buddy,
sporadic mind. You know what I mean? Like
listen,
automatically we're supposed to wake up and say, boom.
I didn't say that. Whether it's sporadic or it took you a period of time is irrelevant. The point is, in order for you to fix the problem,
we could see
that's
that.
what you do.
Can you agree? Tell me whether or not. Let's do this. Do you agree that there is a shift happening in the country?
No.
You don't think so?
Listen.
You think that this is the exact same place that we'd have been 10 years ago?
Listen, here's what I understand. All that pump faking and shoot the ball don't mean nothing. Did the ball go in? That's the only thing that matter. You crying and calling and talk, why they don't do this or do that? You vetting that. All that don't mean nothing. Did you make them change it? Production. That's the bottom line.
Everything starts at a point of agitation. There's levels to every single thing that we do. If you want to reach that crescendo, you have to start
this ain't
at
rocket
base.
science, man.
You have to start at your base floor.
Buddy, this ain't rocket science. You got some
we
people.
are at the threshing floor right now, politically in our country.
Too eloquent, Howard. Use complicated simple thing.
No,
you got some people waiting for you. Who pledge their allegiance to somebody else. That ain't rocket science. If you want them to wait for you and have your best interest, they need to swear their allegiance to you. If they don't do that, stop crying. Now, if it take you a minute to come to that conclusion or a decade, that's where you need to be to get where you need to get. It's that simple.
I think we've seen some shift happening in the country.
Listen,
I think we've seen it. I think we've seen it with Rollins. I think we've seen it with all the agitation that we've seen. We've seen it with internally in political party structure with Loretta Turner Butler. We've seen that there is a rumbling happening, and it is time for a shift to happen. Now, it is our responsibility to recognize this and be able to gravitate towards it, take hold of it, and say, okay, we just can't let this change or this shift fizzle out. We have to do something about this.
Listen, the fizzling or the level of the rumbling of this, what you call a shift?
I believe it is.
Yeah, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Comes from the ground up. The politician does what the people make him do. You listen, a person does what you make them do. If you're weak, they don't do it. If you're strong, they do it. It's that simple. So whatever you want the politician to do, if you're willing to put your foot that far up their butt, they'll do it now. And if you're not willing to do it, they won't. Every time they go sell the mall, pay all that money, don't have no equity, and you let them do that, they laughing at you. You weak. We got a minister of health talking about 2% tax. You understand? We got a cruise industry.
On NHI.
Yeah, we got a cruise industry that imports millions of dollars of food in the Bahamas that they sell in the Bahamas. Don't pay no duty on it. They don't pay no VAT on it. You're not collecting the money from them. Look we see 5 million tourists a year. All right, they eat but $100 worth of food when they're here. That's $500 million. We don't get no VAT on it. They sell accommodations in the sovereign jurisdiction of the Bahamas. All right, we don't get no accommodation tax, no VAT. They get casino gaming.
Do you think our current minister of tourism is taking a stern position and being able to deny the opportunity to be able to
listen here? The Bahamas is our turf. You understand? Every dollar that anybody make in this country, we supposed to get a piece of the action. It's that simple. You don't allow someone to operate a business in your business. They make money and you don't get paid. That's stupid. And then you don't go and have the testicles to go get my money from that guy, but you won't come to me, but this tax and that tax. I don't mind getting taxed if you've exhausted every other opportunity of revenue.
No. Hold on. Your exhaustion and pursuit of other opportunities has nothing to do with your tax.
No, listen, stop. Yes, it does. Listen, you have a choice. You could tax the foreigner.
You mean tax that exists or you mean new tax?
No, what I'm saying is this. The country has a cost to run it, correct? It's a cost to operate the Bahamas. Whatever that number is, that number have to come from somewhere. It may come from Bahamians. It may come from foreigners, wherever. What I'm saying is the first option is go get it from the foreigner. Investor, go get it from the foreign customer. Go get as much as you could get from him, and then what you don't get, then you make up with me. So I'm saying, look here, I've run the numbers, all right? If you look at it, we lose about $1.5 billion per year in uncollected tax from these cruise ships. 1.4.
That's from the $5 million.
That's from $5 million.
$100 a person.
Well, we losing it from food, gaming, accommodations, everything that the ship sells in the Bahamas that they make $1 on. We supposed to make a piece of. And if you don't get the money from the guy making money in your shop, he looking at you as a fool.
And we diving deeper with Disney. We got to call on the line.
You don't get the money from him. What you coming to me for?
Call you on with this live. Go ahead.
Yes. Brother Grant, I beg your pardon for calling back. I had to call back. I really had to. Please indulge me for a second.
Go ahead.
I totally agree with everything that Shelley is saying. In addition to that, Mr. Grant, let's cut the chase now. And I want to ask the Bahamian people this question. What is the FNM and the PLP? Did the FNM and the PLP core membership, are they aware of the, in my humble opinion, treason in some aspect? I'm not saying the FNM voters have committed any treason, but are we going along in the FNM and the PLP with knowingly that the FNM as government or the Progressive Liberal Party as government has never properly tabled anything about the natural resources in this country? Now, the majority of the people in this country is women, and they black. Okay, so we ain't gonna make this no black and white issue if I go this way. What Shelley is saying is true. And not everyone in this country is no PLP, and not everyone in this country is no FNM. But because of how many men were dying on the street that Shelley labored for years talking about, bringing to our attention, and so much so Amos and the others, okay, bring to the attention of the nation, we know exactly what happens to any entrepreneur, okay, no matter how educated you are or how uneducated you are. If you take up political position like Amos and Shelley Morse, both of us is from Auckland, our descendants from there, okay? But we live here. I born in Nassau.
Don't drift, Amos. I was trying to get your point. I trying to pull it home.
If the government really want to help Bahamians, they would be handing out business license like they hand out citizenship for people who the Bahamian people already said we don't want here in an illegal way. And that's why I stand with Donald Trump in this aspect. Okay? Let's put your money where your mouth is. See, talking is cheap. Money buy land. Give the Bahamian people an opportunity to own a piece of their country first. That's first. And then you talking government to us. Because without land, okay, the average Bahamian male or female will have to get married. Okay? What country are we living in 2018 where to own a piece of land, you have to be married? That ain't what the Constitution says. And furthermore, we must, Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Article 71, must be defined properly so those in our schools can know, not think, know what the definition and the meaning of this word, what it means for someone to own sovereignty or hold executive sovereignty in your Constitution.
Absolutely. Thank you so very kindly for your contribution. Amos, you're always impassioned. I just was telling Shelley, because you try to touch on so many things. Just streamline it, and let's talk about what we're talking about today. I always appreciate your contribution, and thank you so very kindly for giving us a call and calling back. I agree with Mr. Moss, the texter texts and says, I agree with Mr. Moss. Bahamians are too complicit, and they fear change. Howard, there is a small shift, but it's not enough. And unless people are consistent and stop taking the BS, which is an acronym, right, and stop taking that from the politicians, it will never, ever change.
Listen, the people are in charge. You get what you accept. It's that simple, you know. But the bottom line is we have to understand that the politician, your job is to go get our money from the foreign investor. The more money you get from him, the less I got to pay. When you give him a pass on everything, then you have to come to me for the money, then you waste the money and you don't spend the money wisely. What is it that you want? Bahamian people are already overtaxed. You know, we had the lighthouse situation the other day, and I think people totally missed it. It wasn't about one Eleuthera or two Eleuthera. You know what it was about? How are we going to share this cruise ship dollar? The cruise ship industry wants to make all the money.
But that's a contractual agreement with the government.
No, hold on. Listen, there are conceptual things that you have to win at. There's a cruise ship industry in the Bahamas. There's money to be shared. How are we going to share that money? You want to make all the money on the boat and all the money on the land? Well, what's in it for us? You understand? So that was what was being discussed there. Not which behemoth or who should get it. How we sharing this money? If me and you get into business, Howard, the first thing we need to decide is how we sharing this money.
Well, the first thing we need to decide is what the business could be.
No. The first thing we need to decide how this money going. That's more
Charlie,
important.
Charlie, I can say 50-50, but we don't even know which direction we go in.
No matter what it is, I need to know how the money share. Because if the money don't share right, I don't care what the business is.
But that is where we go wrong as Bahamians. The first thing that we want to do is focus on what we can get.
But that's what it is. That's what you're supposed to do. No, this business is what in it for me.
I can give you an
Our
example.
problem is we too lax. You're broke, you ain't got no money, then you're letting billions of dollars give away free. But notice the billionaire guy, he ain't getting you a penny.
If your objective is only the bottom line and being able to make money no matter what your business is, if you don't have love, passion, insight, and creativity to infuse in it, if you don't have a long-term suffering to ensure that it's developed, if you don't have it, you don't have a desire to see it go to the future and far beyond. If you are not building this an inheritance for his children, sure, after you make your lick, you gone. So there's no sustainability in. Of course.
Listen, you qualifying what I'm talking about, making the money.